I'll call the Huntington Township Planning Commission meeting together for August 25th meeting. First item on the agenda is, I guess everybody knows, but Secretary Pat Davis passed away a week ago, and want to have a moment of silence and remembrance of her and all the service that she did for nearly 50 years here. Okay, that she was lifeblood of the township. I mean, she knew everything going on. She did everything for the supervisors and planning commission also too at times. And, it's just a sad time for the family and for the township, and she'll be missed.
Yep. Huge loss for sure.
And moving on, does anybody want to say anything about Pat before I move on in remembrance? That's pretty much.
Yeah, she was a really special lady and would do anything for you.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that called in, she just bent over backwards to help them. And should be greatly missed.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen her angry.
Mm-hmm.
She just always tried to stay positive.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, I've been in and out working here at the township in the planning board for probably close to 30 years now, and it's always been Pat.
Yeah.
And even before that, she was there. Yeah. Okay, well, next thing on the item on the agenda is a public comment on agenda items. Does anybody have any? No comment?
There's nothing on the agenda.
Yeah.
That's all done.
Yeah. Okay, after that, we got approval of the minutes for the July 28th meeting. I wasn't at that meeting, but Tom was in charge.
I have no changes.
Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes as presented? Not hearing any, I'll entertain a motion to accept them for record.
I'll make that motion.
Marlon made the motion to accept for record. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Jeff. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay. Zoning officers report, Scott?
NDIA performed 50 total inspections for the month of July.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through every one. I don't think that's pertinent.
Anything you want to call to our attention? I'll make one observation. This was, I don't know, mid-July, so it was before the last meeting, actually. Should have brought it up then. I met with MDIA to kind of see how, I met with James here to see how he was doing and to make sure that he didn't see any holes in the process, especially the way you guys were working together. And he took some calls right as we were sitting here to go out and do inspections. I would say I was, impressed with his thoroughness, impressed with the fact that, as best I could tell, and he could tell, nothing was falling through the cracks, no angry citizens waiting for inspections or wondering what was happening. And that, I'm a little surprised it didn't happen. When we go through a kind of transition, and now we got another transition, stuff usually falls through the cracks. And we've had a few hiccups with stuff on agendas, but that's not him. I'll tell you what, he was very accommodating in getting out and doing inspections, from what I witnessed, so I was pleased with our MDIA and Scott transition at this point. The one thing I did bring up, probably bring up the supervisors, you can listen to this one, Jeff. We don't have Gus driving around the township anymore, and that's really not an easy or even a logical thing for you to do very much, Scott. I know you respond to questions or somebody says, hey, how come they're doing something? I know you respond to that, but that's not the same as driving around the township. So I made a point, Chuck and Chad were here, or they came in when I was with James. I made a point, they're pretty much the eyes of the township now. They're out seeing things. So I asked them that to keep an eye on things, report back to you, to James, to any of us really, but you guys are going to be the action people. If they are seeing anything, because we don't have Gus's eyes. He did do that occasionally. I know he found things. And so, and they both agreed they were already doing that, but they'd do more of it and continue to be involved. Because I think that's really, other than citizens calling in, or us doing something, they're really our eyes at this point. So I just make that observation. Go ahead.
I had the same conversation with them 2 months ago. And I
Good.
was-
Okay, good, thank you. Okay, that's all, just a couple of observations. I'm happy to see what we're doing.
For the month of July, there were six new permits. Generator deck, Garmin Builders doing another single-family home, ground mount solar, and addition and remodel.
Are they here?
No.
No.
They're on the other sheet. That's all the individual inspections.
Okay, oh, okay. So they're on this sheet.
Correct. The bottom six, they're all
Okay.
dated by date of issue on the road.
Okay.
The last page is your point, right? It's our last page?
No,
The second
The
page.
second page. The Excel spreadsheet, well, this
By all the pages. Right there.
Yep, we just passed it.
Oh, this page, okay.
That's all the active permits.
Oh, he's added on. Okay, gotcha. Okay, then all the rest are inspections.
Individual inspections.
Gotcha.
Each project has multiple inspections.
Of course.
Foundation,
Yep.
electrical,
Yep.
insulation, blah, blah, blah.
Yep. Okay. Good.
I do have one permit application note. One for Carl Leach. His attorney on his behalf applied for a permit for his property for a racetrack.
Oh, so that's up on,
South
On
Go.
South Ridge,
Right.
the north end of it.
okay. All right.
So I went out last week and did a site inspection and did some investigation into the ordinance.
Okay,
And I was waiting for Todd's review,
okay,
so I'll be issuing that response tomorrow.
okay. And is that commercial?
Commercial, industrial, yes.
Okay, so he's zoned commercial. Is it a commercial activity he plans on?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And what do you expect your comments to be?
Do you want my, what it's gonna be, what's coming out tomorrow?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to deny it.
yeah, okay. That's what I figured.
It's not a permitted use.
Yeah,
Even though the organization is a charitable organization, that's not the use.
Right.
The use is the racetrack,
okay,
so that use is not permitted.
okay. And he has redress if he chooses to challenge?
Yes.
Okay.
So you officially will report that next month.
If I remember.
You'll do it, you'll
Should
report
I
it next
put
month.
it in this?
No, don't put it in,
Yeah, I
because the
didn't
report
think
isn't
so.
issued.
Yeah,
The report is
okay.
not issued.
It's not official yet.
Yeah.
The official response to the zoning permit request will be issued tomorrow.
Yep,
Then they have a certain amount of time to to appeal
The
that.
ordinance gives them 30 days,
30
45
days.
Yeah.
days. There's couple different steps they can take.
Right.
And we've certainly had those in the past.
Did he have to go, I mean, would he have to have gone to the zoning hearing board if he would have issued?
That's one of his options. He can apply for a special exception, and that would have to be in front of the zoning hearing board. He can appeal my decision to the zoning hearing board.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
And if they decline, he can go to court.
Yep.
Been there too. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Any questions on the zoning report?
Are you gonna cover the zoning hearing that took place? I think it took place?
Yeah,
Oh.
I'll cover that in, next.
Okay, all right, timing's good. Thank you, because I don't know what happened, because I had a county meeting that night, so.
Engineers report, Myerstown Road, construction's ongoing, progressing quite quickly. Update to the Saldo, Andy's here to talk about some things that the solicitor mentioned in his review. The zoning hearing board met last week regarding the Dilla property on Old 15. There was a lot of discussion and a couple residents had some input, and the board decided to ruminate a little bit, and they'll come back next month on Thursday, September 24th, with their decision.
Okay, so it won't be another hearing, it'll just be an announcement of their decision? Or is that in the form of a hearing?
Yeah, it'll be an advertised hearing,
Okay,
but I don't know how much, if any, questions or comments will be.
Was that a continuance, or
yeah, what was it?
is it continuance of the hearing that you had? Or is it just a new hearing?
I don't know.
Well,
I
that's
didn't pay
okay.
attention to it.
That's a legal question, yeah, I don't know, yeah. It's an unusual, I think I've only experienced one other of those. They're usually ready to, they have the information, they've heard that, they usually make a decision. Did they say why they were deferring a decision?
No, I just know that a lot of the resident comments didn't have anything to do with the variance requests. It was more about the general use of the property.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that affected their thinking.
Shouldn't have, that wasn't the question they were asked.
Right.
Yeah, when they came back, they just said they were gonna meet in an executive section and then have another hearing.
Okay.
Ed,
Andy has a, yes.
Andy,
Usually when, generally speaking, usually when the zoning hearing board is good, if they close testimony and they schedule another hearing, usually that's advertised as a decisional hearing,
Okay,
where they're simply coming back at a later point to issue, after to talk to the session, and then to issue their final decision. It doesn't happen often, but that's usually when they have a second hearing, that's why, especially if they close the record
yeah.
at that meeting.
Well, and that, the close the record's an important point, because they're not supposed to entertain any additional information unless they've specifically said they were entertaining additional information. Like, they needed to look at a traffic study, or they needed to solicit more input on something. If it's just, they were thinking about it, they can do that. That's within their purview. And you're saying that sounds like what happened.
But they'll have, the key, you'll be able to tell by what the advertisement for the meeting is.
Okay.
So they'll have to advertise if it's a decisional meeting or if it's a.
Seeking more input of some kind.
continuance Of the
Okay,
previous one.
all right, interesting. Okay. Thank you.
I still have not received a resubmission for the Chronister single-family and garage shop plan. We did receive a waiver of the 90-day time limit.
Okay.
The surveyor. The Lehman Starner lot addition subdivision, initial comments were sent on 7:30. Haven't received a resubmission yet, and board actions required by 10:26. Hill single lot subdivision, comments went out. I told Mr. Brown that when I issued him comments, that so far he wasn't on the agenda. And today he told me he wanted to be on the agenda. I'm sorry, I couldn't allow it.
Yeah, good. You shouldn't.
That's also in Tyrone Township, and it's already complete in Tyrone.
I know, it's a,
I don't know why it took so long to get it here.
because it's a rubber stamp here. So it is too bad, but,
Well, that's what was with my comments too.
yeah, exactly.
He told me he didn't have to change the plans.
Okay.
Whatever.
It's too bad.
Doesn't make it change anything.
No, and it doesn't make him happy, but that's the situation he has and the situation we have.
Some people assume that you're just on.
I know,
the
and
agenda.
Ted and I were talking about that before the meeting. The days of assuming you're gonna be on are over. You have to specifically request to be on within the time frame that you need to get it on. And we're not reading people's minds, and we're not assuming they want to be on. And that's a responsibility. Anybody who's working with developers or surveyors or anybody else, communicate that. There was a day, and this and probably every other township, where show up for the meeting and yeah, we'll take care of it. That's a, yeah.
And I received another subdivision plan recently, Dominger, and board actions required by December 18th.
Have you reviewed it?
Yes.
Okay, any
Where's that
issues?
at?
Would you ask?
Where's that at?
Yeah, I'm gonna, thank you for asking. I have a request on that. Can you put the addresses on these?
I sure can.
Thank you. Okay, so now we can address
Yeah,
that.
I'm just curious where it's.
Yeah, where is Dominger?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can.
Okay,
I'm
all
not
right,
familiar enough.
all right.
Scott, just backing up a little bit on that Lehman Starner, they'll need action by October 26th, so this is August. They'll have to request a time extension, probably, if it doesn't go straight through, it's got to have a time extension next month. Just so they're aware of that.
Yeah, I think I had like 10 or 12 comments. I mean, it was almost a month ago, it was 3 weeks ago.
You haven't gotten any response back yet?
I haven't had a response.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Is that it for your engineer's report? I guess move on to old business, and it's discussion of the saldo. Is that nothing else going on? I guess, Andy, you, well, yes.
Were you here for something?
Yeah, I'm actually with Burgett and Associates with the lemon lot addition.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I have the comments that we received. I don't know if you want me to come up and show you the plan, if you've seen it before.
No, they haven't.
You haven't seen it, I should come up.
Go ahead.
It's up to you, it's not on the agenda.
It's not on the
It's not on the
agenda.
agenda.
But it's not an action item either.
We can certainly look at the plan.
We'll
Yeah.
look at it, but it's not gonna be any formal
Are
action.
you asking anything of us tonight? Because we can't act without it having been on. the-
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Well, what I'm looking for is conditional approval pending the comments that we need to get put on the plan.
We can't do that tonight.
No,
Okay.
If you want to give us a plan, we can look at it and be able
Yeah.
to respond by next month.
Would you like to be on the agenda next month?
I think we would.
Give me a call. You got it.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, sorry about that, but our hands are tied.
So sorry, this is smaller print, but all I had, this is the existing conditions. We have,
And what is the address on this one?
is that from Georgetown?
338 Georgetown Road
Okay.
and 350 Georgetown Road.
I'm sorry, can we have your name for the record?
Yeah, Thomas Keene, Forget and Associates.
Keene
Yes, K-E-N.
with Burkett,
Yes, Forget.
Burk.
G-E-T.
Okay.
Am I correct, most of this is in Cumberland County?
I believe the notes say that the majority of it is,
I mean, it's Cumberland County
The bulk?
parcel.
Yeah,
the bulk of the subject parcels are located in Dickinson Township, Cumberland
Yeah.
County.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all that's being proposed, this is existing. We have this property and this property, this property, and this property. And all that's being proposed, is the proposed plan, is to combine this property with this property to reconfigure that lot 1 to be 24.557 acres and combine this property to this to add, because they wanted
so it's two consolidations.
two consolidations, yeah.
And what on that drawing right now is us? Is
It's
Huntington
down.
Township? Just that corner down there?
Yeah, down here,
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
all right.
And yeah, that's all that's being done. No,
Okay.
no,
And what's the purpose of the consolidations?
well, I know for this, they want, their property is very close to their shed. And they wanted to give some room
Yeah.
to, just some room there.
Okay.
And as far as this lot 1 here, just consolidating.
Okay.
Are all these lots owned by the same person?
Let's see. Source Trey.
There's two owners.
Two owners,
Okay.
yes.
Starner.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What's that?
Lot 1 is
With the little,
Troy
there's nothing.
Lehman, and the other one,
I know, that's why. it's on the-
Starner.
on the agenda.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah, okay.
Do you have approval in Cumberland County, in that township? Whatever that, Dickinson?
I do not know that answer,
All right. All right.
but,
Well, good to meet you.
yeah, right?
We'll see you next month.
All right, sounds good.
That's yours.
Did the surveyor ask you to come here and get in touch with you?
Pretty much, yeah.
He just said be there.
All right, well.
Go here.
Yeah, that's happened to all of us.
Throw you to the wolves.
Okay,
Well, at least you know where we are.
Yep.
You won't have trouble finding us next month.
all right, I guess, Andy, you're up next.
Thank you.
See you,
Yeah.
Tom.
I've been there.
Oh, do you want me to turn that around? I had it turned around to collect taxes.
I'm good.
Or you can sit beside Scott.
I saw the back of the shirt and he was here for it, so that's why. Go for it.
This is the final draft.
It is. I should have printed out just the individual pages, but I didn't. So
Okay.
you enjoy another paperweight.
All right.
So I honestly, I didn't realize that I'd be the only thing on the agenda. And if I hadn't been at the beach last month, we could have addressed this then. But
Don't let it happen again.
Yeah.
Don't go, you're not allowed to go to the beach.
Yeah.
well, so now my son's playing in high school, there's a certain window
Yeah.
in summer
You can
practice.
go.
That you can go.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Mhm.
So back in late June, early July, Todd and I were going back and forth on the comments he gave us back on some things here. And most of them are, you know, there's really 4 areas where there was action required. And 3 of those 4 are on pages 17 and 18. I'll start with 18 first because that's really easy. And we may have discussed this before, but a lot of this is the language that Todd and I have been back and forth on that everybody's comfortable with to include. It's I on page 18, the sentence highlighted in yellow. This has to do with conditions on a plan that require action by a third-party agency. As Todd's discussed, or Scott's discussed, or I've discussed, there's case law out there that deals with this. That, you know, the planning side, I think the lawyers messed it up, but the courts will resolve that on their own. What this basically says is that Section I is about conditions. We added they have to meet it within a certain period of time. Todd wanted to add this sentence that basically says, if one of those conditions are like DEP approval or PennDOT approval, that timeline doesn't apply. They're on their own. That keeps it in compliance with that case law until the
It
case
changes,
law
yeah.
changes.
Yeah.
So, and again, tons of plans get conditioned on getting your HOP from PennDOT,
Mhm.
or getting your MPDS permit, or something like that that's outside of the developer's hands.
Mhm.
You know, and the idea was that you make a condition and it goes from there.
Yeah.
So, some municipalities have, in other areas of the state, decided to play hardball with some things, and now everybody else is paying the price for doing so.
So what you're saying is you can't hold up or deny because of that?
So you approve a plan and they don't have their HOP, so it's conditional on getting your
Right.
driveway permit from PennDOT. If that's the only outstanding condition, you can't hold up the plan because of it. That's what it's saying.
If it's something that another agency,
If it's completely out of
Your
your
control,
hands
okay.
and the developer's hands,
Okay.
where they're at the mercy of that agency to act on their permit.
okay,
And in some agencies, those take forever.
Well, municipalities planning code stipulates that after conditional approval, the applicant has 90 days to meet all those conditions, or else it's deemed disapproved.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So this addresses that requirement.
And I get where the court is, so I'm not arguing that. But the challenge is, when you say it's outside of the developer's hands, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes the developer is the problem, not the state agency, et cetera. So I like this before the court put this in, because it gave us a weapon against a developer that was dragging their feet. We can always extend it if we think, the township, think that the problem is the state agency, which of course it usually is. But we've had situations right here where it wasn't. It was the developer.
I'll give you an example down in another township where we actually do zoning enforcement. We have a standard that says that the driveway has to be a certain width at the building setback line. Okay, it's fine. Developer was showing something that the surveyor submitted a plan that didn't comply. We said, this doesn't comply. They said, well, it's a PennDOT issue. We don't have control. We have to do this. I'm like, okay. So I asked PennDOT, and they sent me the copy of the drawing from their HOP design, which complied with us and was not what they were showing in the plan. I sent them the plan and said, well, this is what they're showing it from you. And they said, well, that's a different level of driveway permit. If that's what they want, that's not what we issued. So we're pulling the other one from them. So.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
in this particular case, it was a case of the applicant himself who was trying to speed things along and apply for it himself without telling his engineer.
Yeah,
Okay,
And he applied for the wrong one.
yeah,
probably a low volume instead
yeah,
of
so
medium
that
volume.
was, yeah, that was
A little bit like the.
basic incompetence.
Which,
Well,
which the
That I know.
bigger one was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bigger turning radius and
Yes,
whatnot.
there were other issues, but you're right, that was one.
That's an example. It's an outside, it wasn't the municipality's issue, it was the developer's
Yeah,
issue.
yes. Well, look, the only thing I'd say is accepting it this way is in compliance with the current situation. But we do have to be cognizant of when that gets overturned, and I'd put it at like a 90% probability, I don't know. If that, let me change the word from when to if that gets overturned, this has to come out, because I think we put ourselves in exactly the situation.
I'm hoping that most solicitors are monitoring that case.
Yeah.
And are.
Would come back to their townships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that changes, you're right, it does need to come out. But for the time being,
It's appropriate.
Todd wants to see it in there
Yeah, because that's where we are, that's where we're living with that decision.
Interestingly, that case, there's something specifically in the planning code that deals with PennDOT permits. And for the life of me, I don't understand why the courts ruled
Decided the way they did.
The way they did, when the planning code already handled it.
Yeah.
Unless there's something behind the scenes between the developer and the township that is not being reported on
Okay,
in the news.
Okay.
Anyway.
all right.
So the other two are 503A and 503C.
We're going backwards, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
And these have to do with 503A is the completeness review, and 503C is recommending the plan. And in both cases, Todd wanted to make it clear that the action comes from the Board of Supervisors upon recommendation from the Planning Commission. You can rely on the planning code to say that, but you've got to spell it out, especially in A, because it's talking about the completeness review, that if the code officer determines that the application is incomplete, he has to inform the applicant and direct them to submit the required information. Applications that are determined to be incomplete have to be forwarded to the supervisors for action to deny as incomplete, potential for recommendation from the Planning Commission. Following the process to make sure that something, if it's submitted, is deemed incomplete, it's acted on as incomplete.
okay,
If they don't act to fix it, that it's acted as incomplete, and it's not sitting out there in Never Never Land,
okay.
and it doesn't get deemed approved because you didn't act.
Because the applicant
Right.
is just going on the basis of the code enforcement officer as opposed to the,
And both
Authorities.
of them are pretty much different, it's different parts, steps in the process, but it's essentially the same thing. It's just, Todd wants to make sure that we're spelling out specifically what it has, the steps it have to take.
okay. I'm good with that, as long as we remember to do it. You know, if that's up to code enforcement, if you run into one of these situations and it's taking on a bit of a life of its own, you've got to bring that back here, and then we've got to bring it to the supervisors, yeah, to officially comply with what we've just said
Either
here.
comply or deny.
Yeah, I added a completeness checklist to the subdivision and development application,
Okay,
so it's right there.
okay.
Andy, the next two sentences talks about prior to 30 days and after 20 days. What happens at day 25?
Say this again?
That same paragraph,
You're in A, okay.
the next sentence, it must be submitted and complete at least 30 days prior to the next meeting. Should the completeness review be completed less than 20 calendar days prior to the next meeting, it'll be added to the following meeting. So what happens between 20 days and 30 days? Can we make them vote 30?
Sure.
Yeah, I remember having this discussion.
We could have,
Yeah.
and I missed it, but that doesn't make sense, that's fine. Yeah, I'll make that change.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The other part to discuss is section 609 on page 69. And this I did a little research on my calculations on my own. And, well, so this part is the dedication plan for recreation and other sites. In there, you'll see the part that's says section 22.613 that's indented. That's what the current ordinance says. So it says recreation fee ordinance. I have a copy of the ordinance, codified ordinance. I don't see anything in there. And I'm looking at those who've been around here for a while. There any, and again, with what's happened recently, this might be lost history. Does anybody know if there is actually a fee schedule that includes a rec fee in the township?
I don't think there ever was.
It's not on the current schedule of fees.
Okay. Okay. So, because Todd and I were going back and forth, we were just kind of, so let me back up. The planning code authorizes recreation fees to be collected. It's one of two impact fees that Pennsylvania allows, transportation and recreation. The trick, though, is with recreation, you have to do a recreation plan.
You have to have a study done.
Study done.
Right.
Okay.
It's not complex. The last one I did is all of 25 pages long. It's not hard.
Who pays for that study?
You got it?
It depends on who you have do it. The last one I did for Reading Township, we did in-house.
And so the county paid for it?
I mean.
On behalf of the township?
I wrote it.
Okay, so yes,
So
okay.
it's like here,
Yeah.
you're not paying
I
anything
mean,
for
that's
this.
part of your job.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
we're paying
It's
big money for
yeah.
it.
It's part of the planning services.
Right.
Yeah, understood, okay.
The trick with those is, though, that you have to have enough development to make collecting fees worthwhile.
Right.
Worth it, yeah.
Right.
You know.
To help, to pay for the actual upkeep and
Right.
so on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
At Reading Township, they have, I don't know, 300, 400 things units in the pipeline to pay their recreation fee, which at last calculation was $778.08 per household, per new dwelling. 4.029 acres of land. So that's what it was. Now, the flip side is, A, you don't have any residential development either in the pipeline or theoretically properties even there that would make it worthwhile even collecting it. Number one.
Correct.
Number two, I went through and used the metrics that we use to calculate needs, and then compared it to the three main recreation sites in the township, which are Grease Park, in the township or regional, which is Grease Park, the big park in Latimer Township, and the school district campus. And so by calculations, you'd need, at least by our population projections for 2050, you need 26.7 acres of parkland, and you have 154. So you're way over. I mean, you're talking, and in terms of park facilities, like baseball fields, all that, et cetera, between the school district and Latimer Township Park and here, more than covered. So the point being is that you don't need, by these metrics, if we did one, you don't need it.
Right.
You might want more, but you don't need it. So a long way of saying, there's no real need to do the study,
Okay.
to apply the fees. Which then leads to, well, it seems like you're requiring it when you don't have the fee, have the plan to require. But if there's no, it's not on the fee schedule, it's probably a oversight of whenever it was written from somewhere, pulled from somewhere else,
Yeah.
never changed.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's never been any demand to change it. Right.
So, but there's always the possibility that something might come down the pike and say, hey, maybe we want something.
Yeah.
So what I've done is, in 609A, B, A and B mostly, is I've written it so that instead of being you shall do this, it's you may do this.
Okay.
Like, if you hit this threshold of more than 10 dwelling units, the developer may, upon consultation with the township, provide recreation area. B, if the developer decides to provide it, it has to meet these conditions if they decide to provide it. Doesn't mean you're not requiring them to, but if they do, and you say, hey, we want that.
Here's the guide.
Here's what you have to do. And then C, if they want to decide to be nice and say, hey, we want to do something here, but we don't want to do that. We'll give you a fee in lieu of. Okay, well, if they want to do that voluntarily, then they consult with you guys, say, hey, maybe you should go to park down here or somewhere else. So it makes it optional, but it gives you some teeth to do something with it if a developer presents the opportunity to you. So,
Okay, and D then is, so I understand D, the township at its discretion may take ownership or may leave it in the ownership of the HOA, if it's applicable. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It makes the whole thing optional.
Yeah, yeah.
The same requirements that is mandatory.
Yeah,
So now, in practical purposes,
probably never is.
probably never need it.
Yeah.
But if something comes up that you do need it, you have it.
Should we do something about the fees, nothing in the fee schedule then?
Well, that part there, I put the existing language there just for comparison's sake, so you can see what it is. This part here, that I've highlighted,
Yeah.
that part there,
Here?
that's getting deleted. I just put this part in there so you could see what's in there now.
Okay, so this, yeah.
That's
okay.
all, get that.
Good, because I was gonna
613.
ask you two questions, I don't need to ask them. Okay, so these come out.
Yeah, 22, 613, 1 and 2 are both, that's getting deleted. I just
All right,
put
got
that in
it.
there so you could see.
Okay, thank you.
1
Okay.
and 2 are deleted.
Yeah, because that wasn't adding up with the, with A, B, and C. Okay, all right, I'm good then.
If both conditions are optional, I can tell you every single developer is gonna say, no, thank you.
No. And unless, yeah, but,
I mean, unless you get the one that, we've had some where their design technique has created open space, that they put it in there. Some, you might get a residential development where they put in trails, they want to do something.
yeah, I've seen it put in to make the development more attractive,
Right.
to raise the prices of the homes.
In which case, then you have something if they decide to do that. But you're right, in practical purposes, they're never gonna do it.
Yeah.
But you aren't necessarily, I can't justify doing the study to charge the rec
No, I
fees,
understand.
because the numbers don't justify it.
Yeah,
But Amberbrook don't have any open space, do they?
Amblebrook, they got a lot of open space.
Yeah.
yeah, they do.
They've got a lot of recreation facilities.
Yeah, absolutely.
They got a clubhouse, I think they got.
A lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, well, you call that open space. I meant for a park or for, because
They have
they're not
parks.
gonna be kid-friendly.
They're not supposed to be.
They're
It's supposed to be
they're
55.
grandkid friendly, yeah.
They have, oh, pickleball.
They have stuff, yeah, they have stuff.
The pond, you can technically, I think it's stocked, I think.
You can fish, yeah, you can fish.
Even though before the current people that are operating it, the original guy that proposed it, his idea was to put make that a pasture, put Clydesdales in there.
Oh,
And we were saying that, and Rob and I just looked at each other, and said, what?
try to get Budweiser sponsorship or something?
Like, what exactly is that going to do to
Yeah, no.
help attract?
Somebody's personal agenda, yeah.
Go up to Roxy's neighbor, they can see the Clyde.
Yeah, yeah.
But the point is, Amblebrook's actually the kind of place where raising the level of the amenities raises the prices, raises the attractiveness. And that's where you see some of this stuff.
I've never been through it.
Well, you ought to go
Oh,
through
you
it.
It's not
should.
gated, is it?
No, go
No.
down and go through it.
Don't do it on a Sunday, because they work 6 days a week.
Even
You know,
go through the model.
if you happen to get on a road that they're building houses,
Oh.
is what I mean.
Yeah, but go through the model. I mean, it's a real I went down for an
Yes.
education. I got educated.
Don't get me wrong, they're crammed in there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, God.
Yeah, but they have,
17, it looks
Oh,
like,
my
oh my
word.
God.
it is like an east or west coast, probably a little bit more west coast HOA. I mean, they used that as their model, and they pulled it off. That's why they're asking the prices they're asking.
I know of at least one developer in the county who does a significant amount of business, both commercial and residential, whose entire residential business model is based on people who are sick of paying the HOA fees
HOAs.
at Amblebrook and
It's a
for
good
stuff
one.
they don't use.
Yeah,
But still want a facility, something like housing type.
yeah.
So, and he does a really brisk business in selling them there. And from what we've been told, and how accurate it is, I don't know, because we don't necessarily track it, but the resale in there is maybe breaking water, maybe a couple grand
Yeah.
above the original price.
And that's not unusual for a while. If it hangs on for a very long time, it starts to get unusual. But when that's what I tell people. I'm sorry, we're off topic, but if you present value, the HOA, you're adding tens of thousands of dollars onto your purchase price. But nobody does that. I don't understand why nobody does that. But anyway, okay.
So, that's the comments that we had to address
Okay.
from Todd. So at this point, I think we've addressed all of his comments. So it's, I don't know from a procedural standpoint what you want to do, whether you want to resend it back to the board or just I tell Todd that we've made the changes and go from there. I'll leave it in your hands. But at this point, unless he comes back with anything else, I don't foresee any additional changes here.
Is he looking at anything else? He's done, he figure he's done.
Not that I'm aware of, unless, well, the only
Go ahead.
thing to say is the we were still discussing the recreation
Okay.
stuff here today.
All right.
And see how that was resolved.
Okay,
But I don't anticipate any issues there since we did it all voluntarily.
yeah,
Um,
okay.
He was generally in agreement with the path
that approach. Okay.
I was discussing here.
Okay.
But he hasn't seen the specifics.
Okay,
So, but I don't see that there's anything else that I need to change unless he comes up with something else.
okay.
I don't see, we need to see it again.
All right.
I mean, this stuff we're talking about,
Pardon me?
what we've talked about here seems like is minor.
It seems fine to me. I mean, I'm only
Be able
speaking
to
for
go
myself.
through Todd and then to the
I
board of
think-
supervisors.
Yeah, I think it's probably about as good as it's gonna get at this point. I mean, it certainly needed changed and updated. I mean, you can't foresee everything.
No.
No,
No, I mean,
But operating off of the old one was,
I'll guarantee you almost as soon as it's approved and used for the first year, we'll
Some will
find
come up.
something.
Yeah, some.
I mean, that's the way it goes.
Hey,
Yeah.
either we'll find something or some lawyer will.
Yeah, yeah, so, but as far as spinning our wheels here on some minor things anymore, I don't think we need to do that.
I see no.
Unless somebody else on the board disagrees with that.
No, I think it's a good document.
Do we want to make a motion to, what we need to do? Make a motion to move it on into to the solicitor and the supervisors?
If you want, I think that will close the door from you guys
It
to
would.
put it back to.
To the supervisor.
To the board and Todd to.
And we don't, I don't think,
finish out.
I would even say, we don't make a recommendation, goes to the solicitor, that's up to the supervisor. We just recommend it goes to the
Recommend it,
supervisor.
move it ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
Todd has pretty much gone through
Yeah.
this.
That's what I was gonna say.
For practical
You're-
purpose,
you're gonna be
what
done.
What I'll do, pending your vote here, is I'll send the draft to Todd in the morning
Okay.
Okay.
and say, here's the last changes I've made.
Okay.
They voted on it.
Yeah.
You know, you'll likely be hearing from your board.
We need a motion to recommend the saldo ordinance to the Board of Supervisors with the conditions as discussed this evening.
With the last round of changes
Yes.
being the conditions?
Yes.
Changes.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, the motion's made. Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Second by Marlon. Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. So,
Follow question.
yeah,
Now we're ready to done.
Thank you for
Yes.
Yes.
for your assistance and guidance. And
I know.
thanks, Scott.
Must, that-
No,
We
sir,
try- we try, 'cause we-
I agree with that.
With
Thank
a
you.
new model, new twist on things every time we do one of these.
Yeah.
You know, so, I honestly, I've described what we did with, what Scott's direction we came up with on the plan requirements to others, and they're like, that's a really
It's a good idea.
good way to lay it out.
Yep.
You know, so, but no, my question is, we've talked that there's changes we need on the zoning side to
Yes.
fit in
Right.
here.
Yes.
And I've pulled together, although I've been sort of sitting on it here, is waiting for direction from the board. When do you want me to start bringing that stuff to you to decide what you want done? Because what I'd likely to bring it is, you know, chapter by chapter.
right, like you did with the
Yeah,
saldo.
same way you did with saldo. Yeah.
But it's gonna be a little different. It's gonna be a chapter that's showing just our comments. We want you to look at it's a little more in-depth process.
Yeah.
We wanted to look at a variety of different things, so I guess I put it where I leave it up with planning commission and the board to decide when you want me to do that. So that would be the sort of direction I'd be looking for. When do you want me to start bringing that, so I can start writing it and then let Scott know to put something on the agenda.
Okay.
Personally, I think we ought to get started right away. As soon as you can do it.
It's right, yeah.
It's,
I mean,
You're ready?
I have my comments together.
Yeah.
It's just cracking it back open, looking and putting
Yeah.
it together, so.
Jeff can talk, I don't know if you can.
Yeah, it's a lengthy process. I mean.
Well, like this was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this next month or two, we've obviously got
Right.
a
You've
lot
got-
on our plate.
Yeah.
Right.
But it'll be our work for the next month or two, not
Well,
not
It'll be-
supervisor.
Yeah,
It'll be our
I get
work for the
that.
next year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Year and a half even.
Yeah.
Yeah, zoning ordinance is more complicated than
Yeah, and this took
Yeah.
the saldo.
many months, yeah,
And you have how many districts back there? 1, 2, 3, 4.
yeah.
4, is there floodplain?
There's a small amount of
Just
floodplain,
three.
so it's really,
So,
So
I mean, a general assumption. 1 month per zoning district to discuss what do we want to change?
Right.
And then at least one per zoning district to discuss the changes.
Mhm.
Now, some might go quicker than others.
Yeah.
You know, and then, of course, there's cracking open all the other chapters and whatever you
Right.
might want to do there.
Yeah.
But that's general how it's worked in others. 1 month we discuss a lot of the sections, and maybe just discussing what we want to do, we can get through a couple.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good rule of thumb to think things through, so.
Well, yeah, it's time to, to address this zoning because it was prepared, what, 1999? So it's 26 years old. I mean, a lot has
Well,
changed, a lot has happened
yeah.
since then.
It was when Moomaw was.
Right.
Yeah.
I was,
Forced your hand, yeah.
yeah,
whatever
I was
year
on the
that
board
was.
with your dad at the time,
Yeah, he was.
yeah.
Does everyone have a paper copy of it? Zoning ordinance?
I got,
That's our blue book, isn't it?
Yeah, I do,
Our
I do
little
at home,
book,
yeah.
Well,
I don't-
I would like to come would like to hear the sections for you. And
Yes.
this
Yeah.
case, I'm going to try to get it distributed out.
Okay.
I just want everyone to be familiar with it, to even know what, and know what they're gonna talk about and change.
Well, some of us worked on definitions, because we redid definitions, what, Roxy, 5, 6, I don't know, maybe 7 years ago. Not that they don't need to be addressed too,
Yeah.
but at least we worked on,
Just-
it was
just look at it.
top of mind, yeah.
A lot of it is, it just needs to be, the format needs to be modernized.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a bunch of things that, there's a lot of, again, it's a product of its time. And there's
Yeah.
a lot of things that need to be brought forward
right.
into things, so.
Yeah.
That's all. But
Okay.
I'll start with that
Okay.
here, and we should start with the Ag District, so. Assuming I don't hear otherwise, that I'll try to get some of that stuff to you for next month.
Something I was just thinking about, as far as these ordinance, changing these ordinances, any plans that are submitted, I guess up until the Board of Supervisors adopt that, fall under the old ordinance.
Correct.
Right? And even if they're working on the zoning, it's still, the old zoning is in effect.
Yeah.
Until the new one has been
Right,
approved.
right.
Yeah. There's something called the pending ordinance doctrine, which would allow municipalities to start enforcing the old, if you had advertised, you're at the end, you advertised the public hearing and an intent to
Yeah.
adopt on a
There's-
certain date.
There's a fine line in there.
Yeah, but more recently, the courts have been frowning upon that
Yeah,
technique for due process
right.
related issues, so, yeah.
Yeah, you're aware of that. I mean, I know there's a little, in the past, there's been things tried, slip through at times like that.
I'll put like with you have a savings clause in your ordinance, which is what Scott was hinting at earlier,
Mhm.
that says if it's not provided, use not provided for, it should be permitted as a special exception in the district that most closely fits
Yeah.
use. So you have something. It's not, you're not in great danger of somebody going to the court and say, hey,
Pushing something, yeah.
pushing this through, because
Yeah.
there's a process they can go through.
Yeah.
Now, they might decide to go through that process, and you might get something you don't like.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
that's different than, but you're gonna get it where something you might not like, and at least in a district where it fits.
Yeah.
Unlike them putting it wherever they darn well please.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there's some protection.
There's probably some new, new uses like, what's these, data centers. That's, that kind of thing, it's not in our ordinance. There's things that need to be looked at.
Yes.
You're laughing. No, no,
Yeah.
it's-
We just had this discussion on those last week at the county planning commission meeting.
It's the topic of the day.
So,
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know there's enough water in Adams County. Without an outside source,
We don't have the
I
water
don't
for
know if
that.
there's enough water in Adams County, all of Adams County to adequately cool a data center.
We don't have the
Well, plus
water.
probably don't have we probably don't have
Power.
the power supply
Yeah, power.
available for it.
As I told the county planning commission, if I could wave my magic wand and make zoning on a countywide basis in authorized in Pennsylvania, I'd put them by the power plant in Hunterstown, because that's the
Yeah.
only place that would have the power
Yeah.
to do it. Of course, I know that Strabane Township would really not like that, but
But that's only a peak plant, that's not a continuous run plant.
But you could turn it into that for
Could they-
this
if
purpose.
If they could turn it
Yeah.
into that,
Yeah.
it,
That's the only chance.
But then your
really,
water
Ron.
usage goes up too.
No, absolutely.
so there's generally.
That's why he said magic wand.
I would think, with data centers, I would think there's two different kinds. And I compare it to warehouse trucks. You have like the R.F. Fager warehouse up here in Dillsburg.
Right.
Then you have an Amazon distribution center or a FedEx hub. Two different types of warehouse with two different types of intensities. You have your data centers that are one building on one site, where it's like the RF Fager. Then you have ones that are millions and millions of square feet in multiple buildings.
Like a campus. Yeah.
Like a campus. That's like your larger ones, you know, and it's very much like a warehouse. There's stuff coming in, there's stuff coming out. The only difference is you don't see what comes in and comes out. So there's a lot of impacts to different impacts than a truck warehouse. But impacts nonetheless. The difference is they're trying to tempt everybody with these really high
Tax base. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Like one that we know, they were, which was inaccurate, they were claiming it was $3.8 million a year to the school district, 1 point something to the county, and like $500,000 to the township per year, which is just an astronomical sum. I mean, where the assessed value alone was more than the top 12 uses in all of Adams County combined. So we're talking a 9-figure assessed valuation, which is enormous. You know, so it's, as that township, you know, on one hand, you have to say committing, you know, financial suicide to say no with the numbers you're talking about, but the impacts, as Virginia's finding out, are simply not worth the money. You know, if you look around Dulles, the north side of Dulles International, there's a cluster of them up there. They're swimming in money. I mean, it's to the point where they have to lower the rate because they're counties with 9-figure budgets are getting 60% of their revenue from one type of use alone.
Yeah.
It's enormous. But the residents are saying, you know what, that bargain isn't working out so good.
Yeah.
The money's great, but the impacts aren't worth the money.
Well, they take copious amounts of water.
Yeah. And it also depends, to your point, on different types. It depends on whether they're a cloud or whether they're AI or both. And,
But, yeah.
but, go ahead.
To Ron's point about power, some of the bigger ones where there's multiple buildings, I've seen examples of one where they were putting 2 substations that were the same production, if not more, through the plant in Hunterstown
That's
alone.
That's 750 down there.
So it's just, the power is a huge issue. So, anyway, we're off this.
Yeah, but it is something that we have to address. And I'm not saying we're at high risk in Huntington Township, but Adams County's got a fair amount of risk, and who knows?
Well, my point was, you gotta look at when we're updating this, to look
Any
at
use.
any
You're right.
new things that are out there, might try to
I have a
come
list
in.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've actually talked about some of the lists, so, yeah, but you're
Yeah,
right.
we just think underwater.
Yeah,
All right.
that's all I got.
Okay.
Okay.
One other thing, Dave and Chuck were very helpful. We were about finished with the road classification thing. I'm waiting, I have a meeting with my GIS/911 person
Okay.
about a question. It's a county master list question, but it impacts the list there. Because there's a couple roads where 2 township roads run along the same path, and which numbers to be assigned there.
To
So that's,
which,
yeah,
right.
that's a question for that does not involve people.
Okay.
But that's just about done. Once I have that question, that's gonna be done. I'm gonna ship that
Good.
off to the board, because that's something that would go into one of your streets ordinance we have referenced in here, cross-reference there. I would just,
Be-
whenever the
Be
board
able
wants
to identify without question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Addresses,
And
good.
that's just an ordinance that gets adopted, whatever the township code process is. So that's just go to Director Todd, and you guys can do with it what you want. So, but that's done with feedback from Chuck and Dave.
And Dave, good, good. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I guess moving on to new business, there is no new business on the agenda. Public comments? No, all right. Not hearing any public comments. Upcoming meetings, supervisors will be Thursday, September 11th. Planning Commission will be September 22nd. And the zoning hearing board, is that correct?
Is that the follow-up here?
Is that the 24th?
Okay.
Okay. Is there any other discussion from the board before I ask for a motion for adjournment?
I got nothing.
Not hearing any. Is there a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that.
Tom made the motion, second.
Now second.
Second. And all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? I don't think there's any opposition. So moved.